Jeremiah chapter 37. Zedekiah the son of Josiah reigned as king instead of Coniah the son of Jehoiakim, whom Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon made king in the land of Judah. And neither he, nor his servants, nor the people of the land listened to Yahweh's words, which he spoke by the prophet Jeremiah. Zedekiah the king sent Jehiel the son of Shelemiah and Zephaniah the son of Maaseiah, the priest, to the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Pray now to Yahweh our God for us. Now Jeremiah came in and went out among the people, for they had not put him into prison. Pharaoh's army had come out of Egypt, and when the Chaldeans who were besieging Jerusalem heard news of them, they withdrew from Jerusalem. Then Yahweh's word came to the prophet Jeremiah, saying, Yahweh, the God of Israel, says, You shall tell the king of Judah, who sent you to me to inquire of me, Behold, Pharaoh's army, which has come out to help you, will return to Egypt into their own land. The Chaldeans will come again and fight against this city. They will take it and burn it with fire. Yahweh says, Don't deceive yourselves, saying, The Chaldeans will surely depart from us, for they will not depart. For though you had struck the whole army of the Chaldeans who fight against you, and only wounded men remained among them, they would each rise up in his tent and burn the city with fire. When the army of the Chaldeans had withdrawn from Jerusalem for fear of Pharaoh's army, then Jeremiah went out of Jerusalem to go into the land of Benjamin, to receive his portion there in the middle of the people. When he was in Benjamin's gate, a captain of the guard was there, whose name was Irijah, the son of Shelemiah, the son of Hananiah, and he seized Jeremiah the prophet, saying, You are defecting to the Chaldeans. Then Jeremiah said, That is false. I am not defecting to the Chaldeans. But he didn't listen to him, so Irijah seized Jeremiah and brought him to the princes. The princes were angry with Jeremiah and struck him and put him in prison in the house of Jonathan the scribe, for they had made that the prison when Jeremiah had come into the dungeon house and into the cells, and Jeremiah had remained there many days. Then Zedekiah the king sent and had him brought out. The king asked him secretly in his house, Is there any word from Yahweh? Jeremiah said, There is. He also said, You will be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon. Moreover, Jeremiah said to King Zedekiah, How have I sinned against you, against your servants, or against this people, that you have put me in prison? Now where are your prophets who prophesy to you, saying, The king of Babylon will not come against you, nor against this land? Now please hear, my lord the king, please let my supplication be presented before you, that you not cause me to return to the house of Jonathan the scribe, lest I die there. Then Zedekiah the king commanded, and they committed Jeremiah into the court of the guard. They gave him daily a loaf of bread out of the baker's street, until all the bread in the city was gone. Thus Jeremiah remained in the court of the guard. Chapter 38. Shephatiah the son of Mattan, Jedaliah the son of Pashur, Jucal the son of Shelemiah, and Pashur the son of Malchijah heard the words that Jeremiah spoke to all the people, saying, Yahweh says, He who remains in this city will die by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence, but he who goes out to the Chaldeans will live. He will escape with his life, and he will live. Yahweh says, This city will surely be given into the hand of the army of the king of Babylon, and he will take it. Then the princes said to the king, Please let this man be put to death, because he weakens the hands of the men of war who remain in this city, and the hands of all the people in speaking such words to them, for this man doesn't seek the welfare of this people. But Zedekiah the king said, Behold, he is in your hand, for the king can't do anything to oppose you. And they took Jeremiah and threw him into the dungeon of Malchijah the king's son, that was in the court of the guard. He let down Jeremiah with cords. In the dungeon there was no water, but mire, and Jeremiah sank in the mire. Now when Ebed-melech the Ethiopian, a eunuch who was in the king's house, heard that they had put Jeremiah in the dungeon, Ebed-melech went out of the king's house and spoke to the king, saying, My lord the king, these men have done evil in all that they have done to Jeremiah the prophet, whom they have cast into the dungeon. He is likely to die in the place where he is, because of the famine, for there is no more bread in the city. Then the king commanded Ebed-melech the Ethiopian, saying, Take from here 30 men with you, and take up Jeremiah the prophet out of the dungeon, before he dies. So Ebed-melech took the men with him, and went into the house of the king under the treasury, and took from their rags and worn-out garments, and let them down by cords into the dungeon to Jeremiah. Ebed-melech the Ethiopian said to Jeremiah, Now put these rags and worn-out garments under your armpits under the cords. Jeremiah did so. So they lifted Jeremiah up with the cords and took him up out of the dungeon, and Jeremiah remained in the court of the guard. Then Zedekiah the king sent and took Jeremiah the prophet to himself into the third entry that is in Yahweh's house. Then the king said to Jeremiah, I will ask you something. Hide nothing from me. Then Jeremiah said to Zedekiah, If I declare it to you, will you not surely put me to death? If I give you counsel, you will not listen to me. So Zedekiah the king swore secretly to Jeremiah, saying, As Yahweh lives, who made our souls, I will not put you to death, neither will I give you into the hand of these men who seek your life. Then Jeremiah said to Zedekiah, Yahweh, the God of armies, the God of Israel, says, If you will go out to the king of Babylon's princes, then your soul will live, and this city will not be burned with fire. you will live along with your house. That if you will not go out to the king of Babylon's princes, then this city will be given into the hand of the Chaldeans, and they will burn it with fire, and you won't escape out of their hand. Zedekiah the king said to Jeremiah, I am afraid of the Jews who have defected to the Chaldeans, lest they deliver me into their hand. And they mocked me, but Jeremiah said, they won't deliver you. Obey, I beg you, Yahweh's voice, and that which I speak to you, so it will be well with you, and your soul will live. That if you refuse to go out, this is the word that Yahweh has shown me. Behold, all the women who are left in the king of Judah's house will be brought out to the king of Babylon's princes, and those women will say, your familiar friends have turned on you, and have prevailed over you. Your feet are sunk in the mire, they have turned away from you. They will bring out all your wives and your children to the Chaldeans. You won't escape out of their hand, but will be taken by the hand of the king of Babylon. You will cause the city to be burned with fire. Then Zedekiah said to Jeremiah, let no man know of these words, and you won't die. But if the princes hear that I have talked with you, and they come to you and tell you, declare to us now what you have said to the king, don't hide it from us, and we will not put you to death. Also tell us what the king said to you, and you shall tell them, I presented my supplication before the king, that he would not cause me to return to Jonathan's house, to die there. Then all the princes came to Jeremiah and asked him, and he told them according to all these words that the king had commanded. So they stopped speaking with him, for the matter was not perceived. So Jeremiah stayed in the court of the guard until the day that Jerusalem was taken. Jeremiah chapter 39. In the 9th year of Zedekiah king of Judah, in the 10th month, Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon and all his army came against Jerusalem, and besieged it. In the 11th year of Zedekiah, in the 4th month, the 9th day of the month, a breach was made in the city. All the princes of the king of Babylon came in, and sat in the middle gate, Nergal-Sharezer, Sanballat, Sarsach the Rabsaris, Nergal-Sharezer the Rabmag, with all the rest of the princes of the king of Babylon. When Zedekiah the king of Judah and all the men of war saw them, then they fled and went out of the city by night, by the way of the king's garden, through the gate between the two walls. And he went out toward the Arab. But the army of the Chaldeans pursued them, and overtook Zedekiah in the plains of Jericho. When they had taken him, they brought him up to Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon to Riblah in the land of Hamath, and he pronounced judgment on him. Then the king of Babylon killed Zedekiah's sons in Riblah before his eyes. The king of Babylon also killed all the nobles of Judah. Moreover, he put out Zedekiah's eyes and bound him in fetters to carry him to Babylon. The Chaldeans burned the king's house and the people's houses with fire and broke down the walls of Jerusalem. Then Nebuzaradan the captain of the guard carried away captive into Babylon the rest of the people who remained in the city, the deserters also who fell away to him, and the rest of the people who remained. But Nebuzaradan the captain of the guard left of the poor of the people, who had nothing, in the land of Judah, and gave them vineyards and fields at the same time. Now Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon commanded Nebuzaradan the captain of the guard concerning Jeremiah, saying, Take him and take care of him. Do him no harm, but do to him even as he tells you. So Nebuzaradan the captain of the guard, Nebuchadnezzar, Rabsaris, and Nergal-Sharezer, Rabmag, and all the chief officers of the king of Babylon, sent and took Jeremiah out of the court of the guard, and committed him to Gedaliah the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, that he should bring him home. So he lived among the people. Now Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah while he was shut up in the court of the guard, saying, Go and speak to Ebed-Melech the Ethiopian, saying, Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, Behold, I will bring my words on this city for evil, and not for good, and they will be accomplished before you in that day. But I will deliver you in that day, says Yahweh, and you will not be given into the hand of the men of whom you are afraid. For I will surely save you. You won't fall by the sword, but you will escape with your life, because you have put your trust in me, says Yahweh.